Welcome to another episode of Chad Sports Talk. You know my name's Chad. Take a dive on sports. Welcome to Week 9 of the college football. This is might be my pick and preview video, where we kind of go over maybe a little bit how I did last week and see how I'm doing thus far. And we'll look at 12 games I find interesting and have some key aspects in terms of a lot of conference races for the end of the year as we're getting closer and closer to the finish line. Start seeing teams really starting to battle to get those bowl eligibility and still remain in contention for the playoffs. But before I dive into all that, if you could go ahead and give me a thumbs up, especially like the content I provide you. Really pleases you two guys. Really help promote this channel out. You also subscribe. Love you guys to view my work. I love you all for doing that. Now, maybe you subscribe. This costs you a dime. Helps me provide more content value for you. Now, going over my past week, I've actually gone 8-4 for 2 weeks in a row now, which is a pretty steady pace, and I've been a steady going through the past few weeks as well. So overall, not doing too shabby, shall I say. So beyond that, we kind of look at the possibilities of what's going to transpire this next weekend, and there's a couple key matchups and some top 25 teams going at it. Huge showdown in the Big West. Some huge rivalry game going on in Jacksonville. Some of y'all might know what that one is. And like I said, I'm going to cover a lot of other conferences that actually have some key matchups that could determine matchups for their conference championships. And let's kick this off in Syracuse at the JMA Wireless Dome. It's a Carrier Dome. 16th ranked Orange, 6-1 to play host to the struggling 4-3 Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And right now, Syracuse favored by 2.5. I am not sold on Notre Dame. They struggle against teams that are really, really good. Syracuse is really, really good. This is going to be a very disappointing year to be an Irish fan. They might be able to get into the bowls, maybe. Do they have a shot with Syracuse? If everything plays correctly, yes. But they can't seem to do that on a consistent basis. And right now, Schrader has just been shredding. And especially when you get Gadsden the second, the son of NFL wide receiver Gadsden. You got a little pedigree going there in Syracuse, and Tucker right now almost 700 yards rushing in his 7 games. So it's a potent offense. The defense is no laughing matter either. Remember, they gave Clemson a run for their money, which I knew they would. They're going to be too much for Notre Dame. Right now, Syracuse favored by 2.5. It's going to be more than that. I think it's at least going to be a 6-point win. I have no faith in the Irish in this one. Next, we head out to Lincoln, Nebraska, where the Cornhuskers are host number 17 Illinois, who's also 6-1, and right now sitting on top of the Big Ten West. Now for the Illini, right now they got the offense is kind of humming along. Their defense has shown, they could be quite dominant when they had to be. And this Nebraska team actually gotten better after getting rid of Frost. So maybe Scott Frost was the bad seed there. But I think it's just too much of the Illini really starting to buy into the system, really starting to excel at their craft. I do have a feeling this could be a trap game for them, and they could be looking ahead in their schedule, and they could fall victim to an upset. Because right now they're favored by 7.5, and I don't like that. Because every time the Illini are favored by that much, they end up choking it and blowing it. That's just Illini football. But I'm still going with the Illini, but it's definitely not going to be 7.5. Nebraska's going to make a game of this. This will kind of put Illini further ahead and control their own destiny in the West Division. But I will going to go Illini winning by 3. Another huge matchup in the Big Ten, this time on the East, where we head out back to Happy Valley, We're 6-1, 13th ranked Nittany Lions play host to AP's number 2 team, undefeated Ohio State Buckeyes. Penn State needs to win this game to maintain a thread of possibly making a playoff bid. However, they're taking on an Ohio State team that's just right now poised to make a nice run. And they need this victory to ensure their end-of-the-year matchup with Michigan is their pretty much playoff qualifier. Right now, Ohio State's favored by 15. I don't see that. I don't see 15 because, Penn State's running attack is definitely going to make this one more interesting than what Ohio State wants. And Ohio State's been proven they had a hard time stopping the run because that's what Notre Dame did against them at the beginning of the season until their defense just gave up or just ran out of gas, more than likely. So I think Penn State will make it a game for probably the first half, and it's the second half adjustments Ohio State makes that will end up shutting the door, and Ohio State end up winning. But it won't be by 15. I think the most they win by is 10. Next, we head out to Jacksonville, Florida for the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. The Florida-Georgia rivalry game. Annually played at Jacksonville between these two programs, and this is just going to be a one-sided affair. I don't think there's any team out there that are really going to give Georgia much of a headache. Possibly Tennessee will give them more headache. Kentucky will give them more of a headache. It depends who comes out of the West for the SEC. But right now, Georgia is just primed and ready to go. I don't see much of an issue. I do think Robinson might make himself known here and there. Make a good few plays here and there. But after that, it's going to be old Georgia all day long. And the Bulldogs will be feasting on the Gators as they cruise to win. Right now, they're favored by 22.5. I say 21. I think it will be kind of a blowout, but I don't think it'll be more than 21. Then out to Manhattan, Kansas at Bill Snyder Family Stadium, where the 22nd-ranked K-State Wildcats will play host to 9th-ranked Oklahoma State, coming off their loss against TCU. In this game, I don't see much of a difference. Martinez will definitely make his presence felt because right now K-State's fair about a 1.5. And that's all because of Martinez and his dual threat capability. Can Oklahoma State counter that? And I think they can. I think Oklahoma State is going to look to try to find a way to make themselves stay the number 2 team because right now it's tied between Oklahoma State, Kansas State. This game is a separation game. And once this happens, K-State's going to be out of the equation. And like I said, I'm going with Oklahoma State. I think I got more faith in them than I do right now K-State. But I will say K-State will make this a game. This will be another close one. But the Cowboys all the way. Then we have the American. This is one of a couple of the group of 5 matchups I'm going to be covering. And this is going to be between 20th-ranked Cincinnati heading down to Orlando to take on 5-2 UCF, 2 future Big 12 members, in a key matchup in the American Conference. Right now, Cincinnati is undefeated, trying to maintain their pace with Tulane. And UCF is right now trying to see if they can sneak in this conversation, as they are only 2-1 in conference play. And UCF seems to be doing a little bit better in terms of their quarterback play. Plumlee has over 1,800 yards passing, 11 touchdowns. And he does tend to throw the ball out to quite a bit of different receivers, so he has no favorite target, which makes it a little harder for defenses to kind of pinpoint, okay, who do we shut down to really make him, okay, find someone else to beat us. But Cincinnati does have a little bit of a running attack with McClellan with over 630 yards rushing and 6 touchdowns. UCF's favored about 1.5 at this point. And for me, I am going to go with Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati has the mentality to continue on the march to make a nice, big, huge matchup between them and Tulane at the end of the year. It gives them a good representation of the group of 5 in the New Year's Six Bowls. I don't see anything else coming out from the the American, I don't see them even making the playoffs, even though they're still technically alive. But a lot of things have to happen for that one to happen. And I don't see that happening. But yeah, I'm going to go Cincinnati in a close one. Now we head out to Bowling Green, Kentucky, where the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers will play host to North Texas in a key Conference USA bash between two 3-1 conference play teams to maintain pace to make sure they see UTSA possibly at the end of the year. Now this one's not going to be high on a lot of radars just because it's Conference USA and it's a lower, and these guys are just averaging, they're 4-4 on average. But, this Western Kentucky seems to produce some quality teams, quality offenses. Right now, Reed has over 2,400 yards passing, 21 touchdowns. So it's a potent passing attack once again. Remember, for you Patriot fans, this is where Zappe came from, and he did quite a good job when he replaced Mac Jones. And North Texas is no slouch either. They have been a very team that's always been a thorn in the side of a lot of squads, especially Conference USA and out. Right now, West Kentucky is favored by 10. I think it's going to be a little bit closer than that one, but I think it definitely will be a touchdown difference between the two, but I am going with the Hilltoppers. And a key matchup out there in Rocky Top, where third-ranked undefeated Tennessee will play host to 5-2 19th-ranked Kentucky. This is a game that Tennessee needs to win to maintain their push, maintain their momentum, because right now they're flying high. They're in like the top 4 in a lot of individual polls for a possible playoff bid. They maintain this position, maybe only lose to Georgia and still sneak into the playoffs. That's still a possibility for them. But they can't overlook Kentucky. Kentucky's definitely one of these teams you have to keep an eye on. But right now, Hooker is one of those outside, or not outside, but he's definitely one of the front runners for the Heisman right now. And he's got to step up to the plate. Yeah, almost 2,100 yards passing, 18 touchdowns. So he's definitely a competent quarterback. The offense is on point right now. Kentucky's favored by 11.5. Excuse me, Tennessee's favored by 11.5. Wow. I don't see that. I think it'll be closer than that. Kentucky will make it a game, but I'm still sticking with Tennessee winning in Rocky Top. But it's going to be closer at 11.5. Then out in the Mountain West, we got Colorado State heading out to Boise State. Right now, Boise State's 4-0. Colorado State's 2-1 in conference play in their Mountain Division. This will solidify, I think, Boise State's position into the Mountain West championship game. And everything's pointing towards Boise State. Colorado State is just not very good this year. I mean, they've had a few good games. They only had 2 wins, both in conference play, mind you. They did, kind of think upset Utah State. So they had that one going for them. But there's just too many weapons on Boise State to really not look at them. Right now they're favored by 27. No. I really hate these huge games where the spreads are so big. You're bound to miss it. And this is definitely one of those games that I think Boise State's going to miss that spread. The Pirate will get 21 point victory, but I don't see 27. But definitely going to be the Broncos. I think with this game, I think they will clinch their division and their spot in the Mountain West Championship game. Then we head out to the other mountain range, back out to east to the Appalachians, where we head to Marshall. And they're playing host to 6-1 Coastal Carolina in a very unique bash in the Sun Belt. Coastal Carolina right now 3-1, just came off their upset loss last week. Can it be 2 in a row? Now remember, this is the Marshall team that went to South Bend and took it to the Irish, which is not really saying much, especially how Notre Dame's been playing. But nonetheless, you the tenacity that Marshall can do, they can step up to the game, to the big boys, and take it to them in their own house. And the running attack is just one of the best in the country, with LeBron over 1,000 yards, 12 touchdowns. So he's going to be the focal point. The defense is no slouch either. They should be able to shut down the passing attack of McCall and the Coastal Carolina. Right now, Marshall's favored by 2.5. They see the upset coming. And I am in agreement. I have to go with the herd on this one. I think they'll be able to knock off Coastal Carolina and really make that Sun Belt East Division race even more tight. You might see I think you'll see a couple new teams in that Sun Belt Championship game compared to the past couple of seasons. It's always been like App State and Louisiana. Because I think Troy's out there leading the West. I think Marshall could find a way to make themselves the number one contender in the East. Who knows? But I'm going to go with Marshall on this one. Then we head out to Ann Arbor, where the undefeated Wolverines will play host to their in-state rival, the Michigan State Spartans, in a game that always bucks the trend. Every time Michigan's highly favored, they lose this game. This has been one of these weird matchups between these two schools when it comes to this. That, I think it's past 2 years that Michigan has lost to Michigan State. So, right now Michigan's favored by 23. And I know they have no love for Michigan State the way they've been definitely played, but they won last week in their slide. And I don't see much of a difference. I still think Michigan's going to win, but it's definitely not going to be by 23. Michigan State is going to make this a game. They're going to take Michigan to their limit. I'm going to question a lot of people, why do we have Michigan ranked so high when Michigan State can go in there and take it to them? It's a rivalry game. It happens. So I don't take that into consideration whatsoever. But Michigan State will make this a game. I think it's just going to be a mistake by the Spartans that will lead the Wolverines to victory. It will not be by 23. It'll probably be a 6-point win by the Wolverines, but I'm taking Michigan. And then the last one on my docket, we'll head back out west, back to the Mountain West in California. Fresno State taking on San Diego State. And the key matchup in that Mountain West Division showdown. Both schools are 2-1 conference play. This is to have the control factor in that section of the Mountain West. And right now, San Diego State is not the same team it was last year. They're not as dominant. Fresno State is starting to bounce back and starting to live up to expectations a little bit. I mean, they got Five, who has not been very stellar in quarterback, to say the least. Mims, almost 650 yards rushing with 7 touchdowns. So he's coming in there. So it's just one of these things. But I think Fresno State should be able to hold on and win. Right now they're favored by 8.5. I don't see any difference. I can see them winning this one, going to 500, pulling the Aztecs down to 500, and just having that Mountain West really, really get tight. So we'll kind of see what happens between Fresno State and San Jose State. Fresno State already has that victory over them, so find out who's going to blink first after that to win their particular division. But I'm taking the Bulldogs in that aspect. There you go. There are my 12. Like I said, not many of the Power 5 programs this time around. They got more of the Group of 5 because I'm starting to focus more on those conference races to find out who's going to make their conference championship games and make things a little more interesting. In terms of after this one, this is when the college football playoff poll will actually make their debut. So we got to see how the committee will start ranking these teams up and down. Because remember, they're going to take into account strength of schedule, who they played outside the conference. Sometimes injuries will kind of play a factor in that one as well. So how good would that Notre Dame win look for Ohio State compared to that Oregon win for Georgia? So I think committees will buy Georgia number 1 just because of that aspect. And then you got to look at Clemson, They're look at their close games, but look, they played ranked teams close. Does that play a huge factor? Maybe make them number 2. I think this committee's going to find some weird ways to rank their top 4 because I have a feeling Alabama's going to be in there. That always seems to be the case. But that's neither here nor there. But how's this going to affect that? How's it going to affect, my eliminator? Now I'm down to 30 schools. I've reformat that process where it would be 2 slides. You have your bubble schools, and then, ones apart are more likely to get in. Separated between undefeated and the 1-loss teams. So you'll see teams bounce back and forth each week. And we'll kind of just go from there. But, hey, just let me know down below what you think of my picks. Do I think I'm completely wrong on a lot of these? I have a feeling there's going to be a few games in here that probably will not go my way. I have a feeling that Illinois-Nebraska game might not go my way. I just have a strange feeling about that one. But hey, just let me know down there what you think. Which game you're looking forward to the most. Who's your top 4? Who's your 4 making the playoffs ahead of that upcoming college football playoff poll? Just let me know down below. Once you're there making those comments, make sure you can also share this video with your friends and family, or helps promote this video out. So you can also hit that thumbs up once again. Once you subscribe, make sure you hit that bell notification to let you know next time I post any more content on my channel. And I will see you next time on Chat Sports Talk.